Let's go to Defensive Rookie of the Year. I feel the same way. I want to see if I could parlay this, Imp, because if I could, this is the one.
Do they?
They don't let you
Jeff
parlay.
Okuda? Ooh. So
Okay.
So
talk to me. Not who I had in mind, but I like it.
No, because if I mean if your theory of the Lions makes sense, right? He'll be, a starting corner, on a playoff team, rookie obviously. I don't know. Patricia's a defensive-minded coach. Obviously, we know that, right? Like they're all in right now because the coach and the GM are both on the hot seat. So they could have went other ways in the draft, but Okuda was the win now draft pick, and I just think there's a lot of now. Now you can find stats on corners where like a few years ago there wasn't like analytics that like there just wasn't as much analytics going around where. You could see a cornerback maybe getting the award as opposed to like a linebacker, which racking up tackles, or a defensive lineman taking, racking up sacks. So I don't know. I just think it's a good time to be a corner in terms of all these analytics now, and I think that if you're correct, if they do make the jump, he could be a big reason why. And he was locked down, so I don't know. I didn't know where you were going with that.
Isaiah Simmons.
No, that's who you wanted on the Giants too.
Yeah. Well, his versatility, I think, is going to play into it. He can have 5 sacks, 5 interceptions, 100 tackles this year. Like, that's the kind of player that he is.
A little bit of everything.
He's the kind of guy that I think is going to change their defense the way Darius Leonard did in the Colts, the way Derwin James did with the Chargers. And Isaiah Simmons at 5-1. If you could parlay Isaiah Simmons.
And Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah.
And then hedge if you have to at the end.
Well, it's a little hard to do that at that point. But I think you're looking at 29-1 odds on those two guys if you could parlay them. Certain spots don't let you. But, man, that's the one. He's the most versatile player coming out in the draft. I am, again, going back to what I was talking about before, I think it's not necessary for you. If you're an offensive rookie or defensive rookie of the year, your team doesn't need to be successful. Mm-hmm. That's really a stat-driven award. Like Saquon Barkley, the Giants won, 4 or 5 games? He won rookie of the year. Odell, 6-10 that year. That doesn't matter for the rooks. But it is helpful when your team does well. It's like one of those, we were talking about the rings debate. How like you use that as you throw it out, that caveat as like to end it, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
That one in that situation is like, all right, well, this guy had 150 tackles, so did this guy, but yeah, like his team is the 8th best defense. His is the 29th best defense. His team's also 12-4. His team is 3-13.
Yeah.
So that's when it comes into play when it comes to these awards. But for me, I think it's Isaiah Simmons.
Last one I'll give you is Derek Brown. Not the Titans, Panthers.
Yeah.
People were saying like he was one of the most pro-ready prospects in the draft this year, and like talk about a stat sheet stuffer, right? Like they're probably gonna teams may have the lead against them a lot. Talk about a lot of handoffs, a lot of tackles for loss, stat sheet stuffer. I don't know. I like Carolina. So, yeah. And then no love for Chase Young. Super chalk, not worth the value there, right?
No, I'm saying as far as away as I can from that Washington team.
Is it because he is a pass rusher, and, for a pass rusher to be successful, the team has to be throwing the ball, and you think that if they're playing from behind, teams are going to be...
a little bit of it.
Does that have anything...
That's a little bit of it.
That's one of the reasons I'd shy away.
As you say it now, it definitely makes sense. I'll be honest with you.
Game script.
That didn't cross my mind, but that totally makes sense.